Not sure if we are live yet. I think we are. Almost there. All right, and there we go, and we're live. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Shiplife TV podcast, the show that is dedicated to raising awareness of the opportunity of working on cruise ships and helping new and existing crew have an enjoyable experience. This is definitely an experience today. We're somewhere a little different. Normally, we are in either my studio or or my living room, but today we're house sitting, taking care of the dogs, and we're in the mountains. You can check it out. Bear with me 1 second. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, anyway, back to the stream. Oh, hey, what's up, Josh? Yeah, saying thanks for getting that video out, expecting it to take longer, organizing it ready. Yeah, so for those of you who weren't here last time, Josh told me to hit up Riley Tench, and because he does lighting and Josh does lighting, and he told me to ask him a couple questions, so on and so forth, and so I was able to get Riley, and little did I know that Riley, I've seen some of his videos before, and he's growing really fast. If you guys don't know Riley, definitely check out Riley Tench, Tench. I just put out a podcast with him yesterday. You should check that out. It provides a little bit more insight into what he does and his thoughts than usual on his normal vlogs, so definitely check it out. Anyway, to today's episode, we're going over a couple different things. The first one is going to be this interesting headline that I saw. 12,000 crew members still on cruise ships in U.S. waters months after COVID-19 pandemic shut cruising down. So I think that's an interesting article to go over. Another one is Norwegian cruise line CEO is astonished that people are still booking cruises. So if the CEO is astonished, then I don't know what to tell you. Another really interesting one is that the CDC is inspecting and scoring cruise ships, and this article is going to go over what those scores mean. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So let's take a look at this one. 12,000 crew members still on ships. So Akash Duhun, a Celebrity Cruises crew member from Mauritius, let's see, has not set foot on dry land since he was on a port call in New Zealand in early March, and he does not know when he'll stand on solid ground again. The more time passes by, and the more stressful it gets. Well, I believe that. And by late March, the Celebrity Solstice, the ship where Dukun was a stateroom attendant, has been completely emptied of passengers. We know this already. He remained on the ship until he had other crew members were transferred on Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas, where he has been since May. Wow. So Royal Caribbean looks like they still have a lot of people still on the ship. I talked about this with Riley not too long ago. Yesterday rather. So I talked about this with Riley, that there are still people that are on the cruise ships right now, and one of the reasons is because some of the countries, they can't repatriate them. For example, South Africa, and I suppose Mauritius is also one of those countries as well, where they're not letting new crew members back. So these crew members are just kind of stuck on the cruise ships. It's kind of like The Terminal, if you guys have ever seen that movie. So they're just floating around. The other interesting thing is, it's another thing that I talked about with Riley, is that I think Royal Caribbean is not paying their people full salaries, which makes sense. I mean, they're not doing all of their duties, so they're not going to get paid full salary. But I believe they're giving them some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a stipend or something of $400 a month. I guess out of the kindness of their hearts. But yeah, they're getting $400 a month plus free room and board, and they have guest cabins. So depending on how you look at it, it could be seen as a vacation, but I'm sure these people want to go home and see their family. So let's resume here. I've been on board almost 10 months. Well, that's pretty crazy. So I assume maybe 5 months into his contract, then quarantine hit, and now he's been on board for about 5 months or something like that. Noting a number of fellow crew members have been on board the ships for over a year. Dukun, who has worked for Celebrity for 5 years, arrived on the Solstice November 8th, and then was scheduled to leave the ship July 3rd. Instead, he has been at sea for a month after his contract's expiration. There's no telling where I see where he'll go, when he'll go home. So yeah, he hit quarantine, and then he was supposed to sign off on the 3rd of July, and it's now the middle of August. His story isn't unique. As of Tuesday, nearly 5 months after the coronavirus pandemic shut down the cruise industry, more than 12,000 crew members remained on ships in the U.S. waters, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. That's down from more than 70,000 in May. The Coast Guard is tracking 57 cruise ships moored at anchor or underway in the vicinity of a U.S. port, or with potential to arrive in the U.S. port. Approximately 12,084 crew members. Wow. Brittany Panetta, Lieutenant Commander and spokesperson for the U.S. Coast Guard, says, "We do not know if these 53 crew members are considered essential." Well, what 53? I skipped that. I guess that's kind of important. Daily Jeeper, what's up, man? Oh, he says he was just signed off on Wednesday and was paid full salary while working. There are crew I know who requested to stay on board even with no work or pay. Oh, that's interesting. So I didn't even know you could do that. Well, that makes sense for you though, Jeeper, because you, like, regardless, you still need security on the ship, so you still have a an essential duty. Someone like Riley, who's lighting, since there are no events happening on the ship, then he pretty much doesn't have a duty on the ship. I would assume it would be the same for like musicians or somebody who does F&B for guests. So yeah, if you have anything you want to add to that, let me know. But I didn't know that you could actually request to stay on board with no work or pay. Because, I mean, when you think about it, you're kind of still using the resources of the ship. But, I don't know. Free cruising. Duty. David Russell says duty. Duty. That's funny. Coast Guard says that number includes estimated 209 Americans who are spread out amongst 37 of the ships, but the CDC and Centers for Disease Control Prevention said as of Wednesday that the agency knew 53 crew members on 22 cruise ships in U.S. waters. Despite the discrepancy in numbers, it's unclear how many of those members are actually stuck versus working. That would be a good thing to know. Let's see. We don't know if these 53 crew members are considered essential for the safety and seaworthiness of the ship and needed to remain on board if they are working with the cruise lines to be repatriated. So I guess, Jeeper, you would be one of those people where you just got signed off. So in terms of numbers, it's kind of difficult, because if they can't tell who's on the ship because they're just stuck because the country won't let them back in, or if they actually need to be on the ship, then it's one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, there are so many people who are stuck on the cruise ships right now. There are a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think they're trying to get the numbers straight. So with this headline, right, 12,000 crew members still on cruise ships, I don't know if it's I don't think it's actually 12,000 crew actually stuck on the ships. I don't know what the actual number is of the ones who can't be repatriated right now, but there are still essential crew on the ships, making the ship keeping it running, I should say. So, let's see. Cruise ships always require at least minimum manning for upkeep and to maintain basic onboard operations, though the number needed to keep things running varies by ship and is determined by the ship's flag country, McDonald says. So that's also a good thing to know. As far as disembarking U.S. crew members who aren't needed, McDonald said it's the responsibility of the cruise lines which must complete response plans and meet certain criteria to determine whether new crew members can use commercial or non-commercial transportation. Cruise Industry Trade Group, Cruise Lines International Association, tracks the crew members differently than the Coast Guard, estimating how many around the world are actually trying to get home. The group represents 95% of ocean-going cruise lines. Interesting. So they're trying to track it, but they track it differently than the Coast Guard. So they're trying to figure out the discrepancy between the two. So again, 12,000 crew, U.S. crew, are still on the cruise ships. They're trying to figure out who's stuck and who's just working. Our best estimate of the number of seafarers on cruise ships still awaiting repatriation is approximately 5,000. So what is that, about like 45%? Based on a survey of our major cruise line members. Barry Golan Blaugrund, Senior Director of Strategic Communications for CLIA, told USA Today on Thursday. But unlike the Coast Guard, by the way, I haven't had my full coffee. I'm like struggling to get through this article. Bear with me. 3 more cups and I'm gonna be flying. So anyway, let's try to get through this article. CLIA is estimating specifically the number of people who need to be repatriated to home countries. This group doesn't have an estimate number of American crew members aboard ships who are still trying to get home, but believes that there are very few, underscoring the challenge, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Some crew members face repatriation challenges. All right, so this is where it starts to get interesting. Since the cruise industry came to a screeching halt on March 14th with CLIA's voluntary sailing suspension and the CDC's no-sail order, both of which have been extended multiple times. I've mentioned that in several live streams. I feel like every other week the CDC keeps pushing it back. As far as I know right now, the CDC has pushed it back to November 1st. Let me actually see if I can pull that up. CDC, where are you? July 23rd. No sale order. I don't see anything of it right now. Nope. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll have to get back to you guys on that, but let's continue with this one. And Jeeper saying it's a clickbait headline. At least with Royal, they're starting to rotate crew, working crew off as well. So even with essential crew can get a break. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, Jeeper. And as I'm reading this, it's definitely a clickbait headline. But at least we learn it together. So, the repatriation challenges. The spokesperson. Let's see. There are a lot of countries you would normally take air transportation, or might find yourself going from home port to home country for ground transportation before the border started to be closed and crew members couldn't access normal routes. Even when cruise lines brought crew members directly to their countries via ship, there were issues. For example, in the Philippines, ships took the crew themselves into Manila Bay. He said expeditiously, that's a word of the day, expeditiously, not able to get expeditiously from the ship to their home country. The industry had faced challenges early on trying to repatriate crew members in the U.S. too, particularly due to the CDC's stiff requirements for crews' use of commercial air travel. So there's a fair amount of stuff here left. I think we've already talked about whether or not it's people who are working on the ship and repatriation, but let's also talk about this here. I just saw this subheadline: Are crew members getting paid? Ukun hasn't worked for more than a month, but he isn't without pay. We are being paid $400 per month, which is less than our usual salary, but it's better than nothing, considering that we're not working and we're just waiting for repatriation. Cool. So that goes over what I talked about with Riley, is that he was just waiting to go back home, so he got that $400 a month. However, if you go back to another video I did with Daniel, and he was quarantined on Carnival, he was saying that he was doing minimum duty, but he was still getting his full pay while he was quarantined for 3 months. So he was enjoying his full pay, working a little bit, but mostly enjoying his time. And pretty much enjoying the life of a musician. All right, let's see. But not all crew members have a financial cushion. In fact, some crew members who work for Bahama Paradise Cruise Lines have filed a lawsuit against their employer. Michael Winkleman, Miami-based attorney who filed this suit, told USA Today that the cruise line hasn't paid crew members who have had no other option than to remain on the ship, which they see as equivalent of forced labor. USA Today has reached out to Bahamas Cruise Line for a comment. It's shocking that a company thought this was acceptable, Winkleman said. I think similar issues are happening across the industry with crew members stuck on ships for nearly 5 months now. So, just as a little aside to that, I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking in terms of the I want to use air quotes because, I got to read this article because I don't know if it's actually forced labor or whether or not they feel like it's forced labor. Because if they are doing their duties on the ship and they're not getting paid, that's obviously forced labor. But if they're on the ship and they're just enjoying the life of being on a cruise ship, and I say enjoying very loosely, hey.
Hey, babe. Come to interrupt.
Hey, everybody. So, here's my wife. But what I want to say is that if you're on the cruise ship and you're not doing any of your duties, and you can't go home, not because the cruise ship is not letting you, but because of CDC or because of, these country regulations, it's not really the cruise ship's fault. So, I don't know. I'm going to throw it to you guys and see what you think. What are some of your thoughts on it?
On what?
So if you got crew members who are stuck on a cruise ship because the country won't let them repatriate,
mm-hmm.
right? For example, there are still people in South Africa who can't go home
Mm-hmm.
Because the country won't let them back in yet for fear that they're going to let COVID-19 spread rampant among the country. But they're not doing their duties on the ship because there's nothing to do, and so the ship won't pay them.
But
is that fair?
Are they still under contract though?
Well, they're not. Are
they still like? Are they still like under?
I guess that's another question.
Because if they're still under contract,
mm-hmm.
then they still have to get paid because it's not their fault.
Right, but what if? Okay,
but
so I get that.
If the contract ends and they still can get repatriated,
mm-hmm.
then I guess whatever they receive will be helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jack D is saying it's not forced labor, but it's not a vacation. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's not going to be vacation because, you're stuck. And no matter how you look at it, after a while it gets old and you want to go home, but you can't. So there. But after a while, if your contract is up, let's say you were supposed to, like this guy in the example of the article, if he was supposed to go home on July 3rd, but he was, is that he couldn't go home, so he was in limbo for a little over a month, then what?
Then he just... have
is the
to.
ship obligated to pay him?
Well, de por sí. I mean, the ship already doesn't pay vacation. So if your
Vacation.
contract already ended and you get stuck on that ship on the ship because of the quarantine and the countries are being very careful, then
It sounds like
Yeah.
you're saying the answer is no. They're not obligated.
yeah, they're not. Just be grateful they're not throwing you on the port somewhere. And
Well, here's
letting
where
you
we can
figure-
drop you off. We're
Yeah.
gonna drop you off in this port where they're allowing people, and you find your way back home.
Oh,
No, of course they
yeah.
wouldn't do that. And I think it's actually pretty cool that Royal Caribbean is giving $400 a month to non-essential crew who are stuck.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the lawsuit is coming from. I think a lot of it has to do with the expectations and the communication from the ship to the crew.
I'm pretty sure the ones who had a lot of trouble would be the United States crew.
Well, that's what they're talking about right now. But anyway, I haven't read that article. I can bring that one up later. But let's move on, because this is an interesting conversation. If you guys want to leave your thoughts in the chat or in the comment section down below, we'll start a conversation. I thought this one was pretty interesting. Norwegian Cruise Line CEO is astonished that people are still booking cruises. So again, if the CEO is astonished, that's there's something to be said there, because so the CEO is basically expecting that people are not going to be booking cruises, but they are. So let's see the top line here. This is from Forbes.com. After Norwegian Cruise Line reported dismal second quarter earnings with revenue plunging 99% from a year ago, CEO Frank Del Rio said that he was astonished that people are still booking cruises while also expressing optimism. The company has enough liquidity to weather a prolonged period of no sailing. So they're down 100% from a year ago, which is, I guess, compared to last year. I mean, well, how would that work? If you're down 100%, that means you're going from whatever you were a year ago minus 100%. So that means they're making no money? Does somebody want to clarify that for me? I'm not a mathematician here. We ain't scientists. But yeah, expressing optimism, the company has enough liquidity to weather a prolonged period of sailing. I think this is where the whole selling the ships comes in, because if you're trying to weather the storm and you need cash flow, selling the ships off, here, take this ship, we're not even using it. Here, take like 12. We don't need them. And we'll take, I don't know, I think what was it, like $100 million per ship or something like that. So
I wonder who's buying.
$1 billion.
I wonder who's buying them from the scrap yards.
Middle Eastern investors.
I
don't know. Private companies. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Everything is solved.
You're gonna see Microsoft cruise ships sailing around
I wouldn't
Silicon
be
Valley.
surprised.
You know what it's gonna be? They're gonna Facebook, Google. They're all gonna start working on cruise ships to get away from they'll put everybody. They'll quarantine everybody. Put them on a ship, a tech ship. How cool would that be?
That would be very cool.
Oh, that would be kind of interesting.
And Mac, babe, a Mac
Apple,
ship.
an Apple ship.
And
Oh,
it's
that would
just
be
like
crazy.
A white, very slick ship.
Or brushed
with
aluminum, like the space gray, all space gray, Apple ship.
With a little Apple logo.
The iShip.
And then the iShip. And it's just an I and then a ship.
Yeah. It only takes USB-C, so sorry guys. The Norwegian on Thursday reported a net loss of $715 million in the second quarter, with revenue plunging to less than $17 million, down from $1.7 billion a year ago. Since its last earnings report, I guess that's the explanation I was looking for. So there you go. They lost a lot of money. Since the last earnings report, the company has extended its suspension of voyages 3 times, most recently doing so earlier this week until last November, along with other major cruise operators in the Cruise Lines International Association. Still can't read yet. Bear with me. I'm learning. With the latest delay, that means cruise line operators like Norwegian, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and Carnival will not set sail for over 6 months, resulting in massive financial losses. Despite Norwegian reporting a monthly cash burn rate of around $160 million amid the coronavirus pandemic, Frank Del Rio admitted the latest earnings call he was astonished how well bookings are coming in, given the fact that the industry is suspended. So that's interesting to me, because if bookings are still coming in, they're still receiving some money, assuming that people are paying ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually purchased a cruise, so I don't really know how that works, but I'm assuming it's like anything else. It's like a airline.
Mm-hmm.
You would just buy your tickets and then you show up.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm trying to hop on a cruise for like March of 2021, number one, it's probably going to be super discounted.
Yeah.
And number two, I'm paying now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably some kind of travel insurance involved with it, just in case things get pushed back.
We should do it.
Well, we'll see. I don't want to get stuck, and I don't like paying for insurance. So,
we can for the end of 2021, or maybe just.
Jeeper is saying Tesla ship. That would be cool, and I feel like, oh shoot, sorry, you guys are getting like crazy flare. Didn't even realize that.
Pretty.
There we go. All right, that's the sun, Mr. Golden Sun. Yeah, Tesla ship, all electric powered ship. Could you imagine that with solar panels on the top?
Or there are.
All electric?
Oh no, I guess not, huh?
And then it looks like it looks like a big Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I would love to work on one of those ships.
You would be obsessed.
I'm already obsessed with Tesla. Let's see. While Norwegian's earnings numbers are bleak, Del Rio was optimistic that the cruise industry's very loyal customer base would translate to a lot of pent-up demand, as the company has already reported $1.2 billion in advance ticket sales as of June 30th. Wow. $1.2 billion in advance ticket sales. So I like that. A lot of pent-up demand. So I can definitely see that. Once things open up again, everyone's going to be like, I'm getting the F out of here. I'm hopping on a cruise ship and I'm sailing around for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
because you can't do anything right now.
I'm pretty sure they're going to have like new standards and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's more, Norwegian raised a total of $1.5 billion in July to bolster liquidity and cover financial losses, which we believe positions us to withstand a scenario of prolonged voyage suspensions. So $1.5 billion right now, I believe it said they're spending about $160 million. So that's, if everything didn't go well, so that's almost 10 months, 9 months of just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they could get through it, but we'll see. Crucial quote, it says, "If you had told me that we were going to be facing this set of circumstances, and your question is, Frank, would you be taking any bookings, I would have laughed at you. I'll say, of course not. Who would book? It's crazy," Del Rio said in response to a question about forward bookings on Thursday. But people are booking. People are confident that we're going to come back. People do want to cruise. They miss it. And so this is temporary. The question is, how temporary is temporary? So this kind of leads into why investors are still very optimistic and very positive about the cruise line industry. Mm-hmm. And we're not financial analysts, but this is interesting to think about when it comes to cruise line stocks, because they're incredibly low right now. I was just looking at them this morning.
Do you think that, well, maybe I just don't understand how stocks work in general, but if they are booking and they're having like overflow of bookings and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't the stock come up?
Well,
Or
it
will
kind of
come-
depends. I mean, like, he's not saying that they're getting as much as they used to, or that they were getting as much as more than they used to. He's just saying it's more than he thought.
Oh,
Yeah. So maybe he thought it was going to be, $100 million, and he ended up getting $150 million. I mean, well, it said, I think it was 1.2 billion or something like that.
yeah, one.
Yeah, right there. Of Norwegian's $1.2 billion in advance ticket sales, 800,000 of it comes from future cruise credits, which customers received instead of refunds. And, oh, interesting. Well, okay, that doesn't...
Wait, what?
800,000 of it comes from future cruise credits, which means only 400,000 of it... 400,000 of the 1.2 billion advance ticket sales are new sales. 800,000 of it, 75% of that 1.2 billion, is coming from credits instead of refunds for canceled cruises.
Okay.
So,
then
yeah, that doesn't even mean anything.
yeah.
That's if you guys are learning, then
Glare.
let us know what's going.
Glare.
Oh, we're getting glare again. The
Well,
sun
the
is
sun
moving this way. Anyway, we're gonna keep moving here.
Pretty sure they couldn't see that.
Yeah, sorry guys. Anyway,
Do you
no, it's fine. They just couldn't see us. But Jack D is saying, I think since Norwegian owns Pride of America, they're first in line for bailouts from the government ahead of Royal and Carnival. Yeah, well, I believe Royal Caribbean is also at least I think maybe one of their headquarters are in Miami. I believe they're an American-owned ship. It's just that a lot of their ships are actually registered in Malta. So that's where the difference is. We talked about this in a previous episode where it's like some of these cruise lines, in terms of bailouts, it's a tricky situation. They can't really get bailouts because if the government was to give Royal Caribbean a $1 billion bailout, but they're giving them to a company that has ships that are registered in a different country, that may not look right. So, something to think about.
Yeah, it sucks for them.
Yeah. Let's see. What to watch for, it says. Despite the company's optimism that it can weather a no-revenue environment amid the pandemic, Norwegian did admit that the coronavirus has had a significant impact on its financial position. If the temporary suspension of sailing is further extended beyond October 31st, okay, there we go, October 31st, that would likely lead to a further negative impact. Oh, really? Norwegian said in its earnings release, it will take some time for business to get back to normal. Okay, we get it. Key background, while cruise stocks have rebounded somewhat since their March lows amid optimism about reopening the economy, shares of Norwegian, Royal, and Carnival are still down 60 to 75% this year. All three major operators have reported record financial losses. Yeah, we know this already.
Yeah.
So,
when is this article?
this article was posted. This one. I know this one's new. August 7th at 1.
Just a few days.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
2 days ago.
Yeah. Okay. What
So
day is today?
today's the 9th.
Yay.
So let's wait real quick. Let's take a look at. Oh, we're getting the glare. Oh my goodness, the sun is moving so fast.
We should move the table, no?
Yeah, you're right. Give us 1 second. Hang on. We're gonna move this table so that you can see our stupid faces.
Your stupid face.
My stupid face, her lovely face. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wait, this is.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
My phone.
Okay. Whoa.
Nah.
You're good. Okay. Hey, we're back. All right. All right. Oh, that's right. I was going to go over the stock prices. So let's see. Norwegian is at $14 today. 1 month ago, they were sitting around $15.60. 3 months ago, at their peak, they were around $22. And a year ago, they were hovering around just below $60 at their peak. So,
Wow.
yeah, $14 today.
All of them were crew members investing in it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Carnival sitting around $14. Again, a week ago. A week ago, they were actually lower. So they've come up like 5% in the last week. Carnival, though, at their peak a month ago, they were sitting at around $17.50. Oh, what's up, Miko? Like, whose stupid face? My stupid face.
Yes.
And then 3 months ago, at their peak, they were sitting around $25. And then lastly, Royal right now is sitting around $52. A week ago, they've actually come up 10% in the last week. So that's interesting.
I feel like it's still, like, you would think that it would be, like, worth so much, you know. Like, I thought before, I thought that before we saw the stocks for Royal or, like, any other cruise ships, like, I thought it was, like almost like Netflix.
Uh-huh.
But then it's, like, mangy $50.
Yeah.
And, like...
Well, there's a lot that goes into the pricing of it as well. So, I don't know. But, anyway... 3 months ago, Royal Caribbean was sitting around $75, and then a year ago, at their peak, they were sitting around $132. So,
yeah, it's still kind of...
If you guys are looking to invest your money into stocks, this article is essentially saying, well, the CEO of Norwegian is saying that he expects it to go up. You know, there are still people who are buying future cruises, but keep in mind that they're reporting that $1.2 billion is going in. It is future sales, but only 400,000 of it is actually new purchased sales. So maybe that's why the stocks have gone up like 10%, or what was it? Was it 10% in the last week? Yeah, almost. Royal Caribbean up 9% over the last week. Maybe it's because of the future sales. Who knows? Let's check out this last article I wanted to share with you guys. This one I found very interesting, at least from the headline. So the CDC inspects and scores cruise ships. Here's what those scores mean. So let's see. Let's
Sounds like a pageant.
What is the vessel? Oh, you know what? I thought that said sensation. It's a sanitation. the vessel sensation program. Ooh.
You're funny.
The main goal of the vessel sanitation program is to help the cruise industry prevent and control the introduction, transmission, and spread of gastrointestinal illnesses such as norovirus. Okay, that's pretty standard. The program operates within the CDC, again, Center for Disease Control, and is under the authority of the Public Health Service Act. The cruise ships under the VSP, the cruise ships under VSP jurisdiction are those that have foreign itinerary with U.S. ports and carry 13 or more passengers. That's like every cruise ship almost. Cruise ships are given a score with a maximum of 100. 85 and below is considered a failing score. Okay. VSP's purpose is to train cruise ship employees on public health practices. It also provides health education and reliable and current public health information to a larger audience, including the cruise ship industry, the traveling public, public health officials, state and local health authorities, and the media, according to the CDC website. So let's take a look at some of these inspection categories. Miko's also saying, which article can we see? Are you able to? You guys are seeing the articles, right? It's not just our faces. Let me know. Okay, so major areas VSP inspects on the ship. Medical facilities, so what inspectors are looking at. Documentation for gastrointestinal illnesses. We'll make this bigger for you guys so you can read it. So I can read it too. Documentation for gastrointestinal intestinal illness, surveillance, and medical logs. Okay. Potable water systems. So they're looking at procedures from water source to storage until use, water distribution, protection, and any cross connections in the disinfection process. This is why they don't allow you to use your own personal water bottles at any of the
water fountains.
The water fountains, or even the spigots in at the buffets or anything like that. If they catch you, That's it's a banana.
Big banana.
Banana for you.
I got caught twice.
I almost got caught. Also, you gotta wash your hands. You can't go into the mess without washing your hands.
Washy washy.
Washy washy.
I wish we could play that song.
We can.
Wash your hands,
I'll play the
da.
wash your hands song at the end. I'll find it on YouTube, and get demonetized, but it's fine.
It's not like we're
Yeah.
we're losing.
Yeah,
big
I'm
bucks.
losing my 5 cents on this video. Swimming pools
You're
and
funny.
whirlpool spas. Filtration. So they inspect filtration, disinfection, general maintenance, and safety. Galleys and dining rooms. So they check food protection during sourcing, provisioning, storage, preparation, and service, employee health and personal hygiene, and facility equipment maintenance and dishwashing. Okay, so they check all that stuff. Child activity centers. That's a big one. His children are just like walking germs, one large germ. Properly equipped diaper changing stations, toilets, and hand washing stations, facility disinfection, infection control for ill children. Good. Hotel accommodations. So the rooms and stuff. Routine cleaning sequences and infection control procedures during outbreaks of gastrointestinal illness, including the use of appropriate disinfectants and outbreak policies, ventilation systems. So they check system maintenance, system cleaning, and common areas of the ship. So they integrated pest management strategies, general cleanliness, and maintenance. So those are all the places they check and what they check there. So let's see. How often are cruise ships evaluated? Check the chat real quick. Yeah, we're good. Okay. The inspections are periodical and unannounced. Ooh, they're like secret shoppers.
Not
with
quite,
with the
though.
goal of inspecting operational sanitation. Under the program, cruise ships are inspected 2 times a year. Oh, is that all?
Kind of feels. Oh yeah, I guess it's like in the big crossing one. When we come to
Well, after the crossing, I guess so.
because
They
always
have that
make
deep
that,
cleaning.
Yeah. Oh, they always make that huge of a deal, and everything has to be spotless. You have to know all those questions, which is like 80 questions.
For sanitation?
No,
Or that's
no.
immigration.
Yeah, that's. I feel like they do it at the same time.
Probably.
Like,
I think it depends on the ship, though. But yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Let's see. CDC notes that if a ship sails outside of the U.S. for an extended period, it may not be inspected twice a year, but it will be inspected again once it returns to the U.S. There you go.
you should
Okay.
pay attention.
All right. All right. So I guess you're right about some things.
Some things.
Everything. Okay, so it says, who got the best scores? In the past 2 years, here are the cruise ships that received the maximum score of 100 and their date of inspection. Oh, this is great. Okay, so Aurora from P&O. September 24th, 2018, they received a maximum score of 100. That's great. The Carnival Valor. In February 24th of 2020, Celebrity Reflection.
Yay.
December 9th of 2019, Disney Dream, 2019, Disney Wonder in end of 2019, the New Amsterdam, Holland America Line. What is that? June 17th of 2019. These are all fairly recent, with the exception of these 2018 ones, but that's not bad. Norwegian Sky, Rhapsody of the Seas of Royal Caribbean, Ruby Princess, Sea Princess, Seabourn, Quest.
Viking 3 years in a row.
Well, those are all different ships, though.
Still.
Right, so the Sea...
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's great that they have 3 ships that earned a maximum score. Let's see. Worst cruise ship scores. Okay, I feel like this is even more interesting. Oh, we got some stuff here. Mark Hunter, what's up, man? Yeah, in the process of making more. Bing bong. And Raymar, hey guys, viewing from the Philippines. Mabuhay. Am I saying that right? Is that right? I'm a terrible Filipino. Worst cruise ship scores. So let's do this. World Odyssey, 89. Wait, these are bad? I thought... Oh, wait. It says, remember that 85 and below is failing. Okay, got it. So these these are the worst, but they still technically passed. They wouldn't,
Technically.
yeah, they're not going to put anybody who doesn't pass. So anyway, World Odyssey on CMI Ship Management received a score of 89. MS Grand Classica from Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line received an 88.
I don't know.
And these are all from 2009 and 2020, so
It's weird.
within
to
the
me
last like year and a half.
Yeah, it's weird to me to see the 89, 88 being as the worst. Because I was like, if I only got like a 70 in my exams in high school, I was super happy.
But it doesn't work that way.
I know, but it's still, I'm just saying.
I kind of feel like, well, why would you put it on a scale of 100 to 85
Right.
if anything below 85 is not passing? Why don't you just make it 1 to 15? And then anything below is like, yeah, you didn't get any points. So anyway, Oceana Sirena scored 88. It's all numerical order here. Seven Seas Mariners 88. Victory One of Victory One Partners, Kaidon. Ferries del Caribe, Queen Victoria of Cunard. National Geographic Sea Lion of Lindblad Expeditions 86. And then basically the worst one is Norwegian Epic of Norwegian.
Oh,
Scored
that was
an
my
86.
last ship.
An 86. And they scored this. It wasn't a long time ago. It was February 6th of this year. So
Somehow it doesn't surprise me.
yeah.
But it's a good ship. Everybody's nice, but it's
So-
a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been on Norwegian, but for you guys who may be looking at Norwegian or you're thinking about going on Norwegian, it's not the whole company. It's just that ship itself received the lowest score you could get by the CDC's requirements.
Yeah.
So just take that into consideration.
Also, it's not like there's gonna be trash everywhere, or it's gonna be.
Yeah, just
crap.
germs
It's-
and stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it's. Never mind.
I mean, 85 means it failed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what that 86 score means, but hopefully in the last, 6 months, they've stepped up their game.
Well, I think they had to. Though.
I think they have to. The bottom line, nobody wants to spend the majority of their vacation doubled over in a room while everyone else experiences once in a lifetime excursions. Not only is it a waste of time and money, but it could be dangerous for your health. This is very, very true. If you're going to spend like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, you'd want to know that you're not going to get sick on this 2-week cruise, wasting your money and whatever while everybody's having the time of their lives. I've done that before. I mean, that's like drinking way too much before the party even starts.
Oh, getting sick on the ship is not good.
Yeah, getting sick on the ship is not good.
I think I got sick twice once. Different ships.
Yeah.
And they quarantined me for 3 days. First day was awesome, because not awesome because I was still sick. And then, you just bored out of your mind.
I've gotten sick on the ship before. But most times I try not to show it. So, and here's the other thing is that you're going to have a lot of crew that don't want to go to medical for various reasons. And then they also don't want to be quarantined. So they're going to be sick, but hide it. So I was one of those people, but, and I recognize that's not cool. And I would say if you guys are thinking about doing that, or if you're on cruise ships, and just relax. Just stay in your cabin or go to medical, because you put everybody else at risk.
Yeah.
So anyway, it says here, check out recent VSP scores for your cruise ship. For the cruise ship you plan to board, these scores allow you to cruise in peace, so you can take the trip of your dreams without the fear of being racked with an illness. So anyway, again, Norwegian Epic. As of this year, it received the worst score. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up what I wanted to go over today. We didn't have very many questions in the chat. I guess we're answering a lot of your questions already. But if you have any questions, you can hit us up on Instagram, Shiplife TV, that way, at Shiplife TV, and ask me anything that you want. So, again, welcome Well, it's not welcome. Thank you for watching Shiplife
Yeah.
TV, the show that's dedicated to raising awareness of the opportunity of working on cruise ships and helping new and existing crew have an enjoyable experience. I've been your host, Jordan. She's also been your host for the second half.
Carlota. Oh, sorry.
And anyway, if you like the video, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And according to my analytics, about half of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed. Just hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to make better videos for you guys. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.
Hopefully, we sign a petition. Oh, you close it already?
No,
Okay.
You just started.
So hopefully, let's do a petition
Uh-huh.
where Tesla can make a ship, and
Okay.
then we can all go and work there.
That'd be
Okay?
cool.
And then we can all meet each other. That would be so awesome.
Elon Musk will be the captain.
It'll be